Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One. I don't have long because I gotta get back in the house. I gotta monitor CNN. I gotta monitor the internet. I got my ham on, my CBs on, all my MERS radios are on. I'm monitoring everything because there's supposed to be an invasion today. Russia's supposed to come across the border and smash into Ukraine. That's what I've been told. I got a few problems with this. Yeah, I am very concerned that a situation could develop because we are going to provoke Russia into it for one reason or the other reason. And I've been reading a lot. Many articles have said that it's because of the pipeline going from Russia to Germany. This would create a big benefit for both Russia selling their gas and Germany getting their gas because they have shut down some of their nuclear power plants. So it'd be a good situation. And some of the people that are a lot smarter than me are saying that with this trade, it would build a relationship, it would build more trade and more relationship, and the United States would be pushed to the back burner because Germany and Russia could have mutual benefiting relationship. So that's why we want to stop this pipeline. It will cause a lot of problems. The pipeline's not officially, I guess, certified, but as soon as it is, it's going to be, I think, providing Germany with 50% of their gas, natural gas, and that would be a huge plus for them, and especially for Russia, give them some money. So some people are saying we're doing this to cause that problem. Or are we doing this to distract from the president's terrible ratings and our terrible economy? I have no idea, but let's talk realistic. They came out and said that the attack is imminent. Russia did not have enough guys on the border to go into it, take the capital, hold it, and keep it. It's just not enough manpower. They had a lot of equipment there, but I don't see that. I could see them going in and taking a section of the country that is predominantly Russian or Russian speaking, that wants to be part of Russia. Yes, definitely, but going all the way to the capital, I find that hard to believe. I think they would get bogged down, and Ukrainians would then probably go to some type of guerrilla warfare, asymmetrical, and do that. So, also, they sent the 82nd Airborne. I think the 101st Airborne sent in some guys. This was on their, I think, their Twitter page and the news. The news is carrying it. These are light infantry, and that was my forte. Light infantry. You don't want to go against tanks. You don't want to go against the artillery. All the stuff that Russia is heavy mechanized, heavy mechanized. Light infantry does not do good against them. We need a lot of support. So sending the 82nd Airborne to Poland is awesome, but to be honest with you, they're nothing. They are nothing for that type of warfare. Remember, we fought an insurgency warfare for 20 years, and that's what we were good at. I could see the change when I was in. It was all of a sudden, yeah, peer-to-peer going against Russia. Then all of a sudden, boom, 9/11, we're in an insurgency type. So all our training stopped peer-to-peer, and we went to the insurgency training. We need to get back to going peer-to-peer because it's going to be devastating to us if we don't. And the military is moving in that direction, but with the political climate, the tearing apart the military because of political correctness, getting this, a lot of people are getting out. Had someone sent me something, I appreciate her. There's going to be a huge shortage of skilled laborers for the Air Force. People are getting out in a huge number, and some are retiring because they don't want to get this. So we are just going downhill with the military. I know my son's in there, so I get a lot of information from him in the sense of readiness, in the sense of quality of the soldier. Unbelievable. So if I would have saw heavy mech units in the United States being geared up and ready to roll, that is one thing. But what I'm seeing on open sources, our heavy mechanized, heavy infantry guys, tanks, Bradleys, all that stuff is not being spun up. So to me, that doesn't make sense. If you honestly thought Ukraine was going to get hit, you'd be doing something else. And probably the biggest thing is if you had a source inside the Kremlin that gave you hard evidence that there was going to be an attack on Ukraine today, why in the HE double hockey stick would you say that publicly and compromise a source? Because if you come out with that information, they're going to track down if it was a legitimate source. They're going to find that source. Who in their right mind would purposely on the Russian side put out a date? They might put out a date to get us all geared up, get us all humped up and ready to go, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, and then we relax, and then they can go in a week. I don't know. But if you had a source inside the Kremlin, you would not expose it with that information. You would maybe tell our allies, you might, you know, spin up more military units, but you wouldn't put it publicly out there. I think Biden can use this as a way to get brownie points, political points. He can say, it was my leadership that stopped the Russians from coming over the border. If they were never planning on coming over the border, that's going to get you some brownie points. But it also can spin you into a war by antagonizing them and creating problems. So you have to be very responsible as a president of the United States not to spin us into conflict, because I guarantee you politicians and politicians' sons aren't the guys on the line, not the first guys to take the incoming. If politicians had to vote for going to war and then they had to send their eldest son or eldest daughter to the front line, we'd fight a lot less wars in this country. So I am not really concerned that Russia's going to invade. I'm concerned that we're going to goad them or force them to do something they don't want to do, because the United States and the powers that be wants the problem. One reason I'm doing the nuclear war series is not personally I'm worried about it, but I've gotten so many questions and I've talked to so many people that they are worried about it, and rightfully so. You can't poke the bear and not think you might get a claw to the face. So I'm going to continue doing that series just so you're educated, but I don't believe we're going to have an attack, and I think the media and other things that what I've been reading in the last couple of days is showing that. It was positive news for the oil markets that we're not going to have a conflict, because any conflict will disrupt trade, and oil prices are already very high, going higher, and inflation is rearing its ugly head. The U.S. debt numbers we're like 30 trillion, and I think it's up to like 35, maybe 36 billion. I didn't look at it this morning. But I think it's 35 billion. That number always goes up a few billion every day, and then all of a sudden there's this giant spike of maybe 50, 60, 70 billion. Boom, and it jumps up. I'm waiting for that spike to see, because it's coming, maybe tomorrow, maybe another day, maybe a week, but it'll take a huge spike up. So that debt is also a problem in our country. Is Biden using a distraction to hide economic problems? I don't know. All I know is I personally do everything I can as a prepper to prepare for uncertain times. But you have to understand also, you have to live your life. And I do. I enjoy my grandbabies. Those little monsters are awesome. So yes, prepare, focus on that, but also live your life. Do other things in life. Not to say that a lot of hobbies you do and that you enjoy doing aren't prepper related, from shooting to gardening to all kinds of other tasks that relate to prepping, to preparing yourself. We have gotten away from individuals sustaining themselves. We've gotten into an economy that you don't need to know anything. You need to know one thing, and that could be your job. You might be a forklift driver, and you can drive forklifts at the warehouse, and that's all you need to know, because they give you a paycheck, and then you take that money and you buy whatever you need to other people. I'm not saying that's a wrong way of doing it, but when the economy has problems or there's a catastrophe, if the only skill you have is driving a forklift or punching a few numbers on a computer, and the crap hits the fan, then you don't have those other valuable skills that people had hundreds of years ago. And I'm not saying if you do those things for a living, you're wrong. No, we need people to type in a computer. We need people to drive a forklift. I'm just saying our survivability from 300 years ago to today is different. We also have nicer technology. We have better things to make us survive and make it easier for us to survive. Things like the tractor and rototillers can make gardening so much easier. So, keep prepping. I have no idea what Russia's going to do. I don't think Biden knows unless he's making all this up. Thanks for watching.